with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around with me. You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Let's get it. All right, so here we are. We're going to talk about the first meeting. The first meeting of a young lady meeting and being introduced to her boyfriend's parents. Now, the way they did it, they went out to the boyfriend's parents for a long weekend. It was a holiday weekend, and they wanted to introduce this young lady to the parents for the first time. Now, this could be a very stressful time for anybody, because when you meet the parents, like it or not, it's kind of an unspoken rule that if the parents like you and he or she really gets along with their parents and the parents like you, then that opens the door and that leads you to the next step in your relationship. If the parents don't like you and there's a problem or you don't like them, then that can lead to the destruction or basically the dissolution of your relationship. So you're kind of at the crossroads when you're doing this. So there's a lot of stress involved. What she encountered was something a little bit more off-putting. And we'll let her take it away in her words. She writes, "I'm not sure if I'm making a big deal of this. Yesterday, my boyfriend and I came to his parents' place for the weekend. This is my first time meeting them, and I was super excited about it." Okay, so you're excited about it the first time you're meeting them. You're kind of feeling the rhythm. You're in the rhythm of the relationship. You're feeling like you want to meet the people who made the person that you're in love with and all that. So I get that. Okay. So his mom is incredibly kind and sweet. She has made me feel at home. His dad, on the other hand, is giving me weird vibes. That's not good. You ask yourself, what kind of vibes is she talking about? Weird vibes. Is he walking around with like his pants up to his nipples? Like, what's happening? You know, what kind of weird vibes are we talking about? He insisted on helping her bring the bags to the bedroom. Okay, there's nothing weird about that. That's chivalric. Usually I would do that too. It's kind of weird that the son isn't helping to take the bags up. You know, the son and the father could have easily taken the bags up and they could have got some daddy-son time. But okay. While we were alone up there, this is the young lady and the father, he looked me up and down and said, "Sees why Ben is so happy." That's completely inappropriate. Because even if he was in a situation where he's impressed with or he thought that his son's girlfriend was attractive, you don't have to start looking her up and down and trying to size her up to figure out what your son is working with. That's crazy as hell. So it's disrespectful for a few reasons, and we'll get into that in a moment. He then said, "The room is pretty soundproof," and gave a wink. So he's one of them old dudes that thinks he's cooler than he actually is. Looks like he's about 50 years old. She's 22. And the weird thing about being in your 50s, 40s, 50s, you still think you're kind of in the game. Like, you think that you can still pull down these, like, these 20-year-olds and you can still make it happen. So he's probably living that illusion and that fantasy. Now, the thing that I would say first and foremost, one, is disrespectful first to his wife. This is their home. This is the familial home. He's standing in a bedroom in a familiar home talking to another woman about how good she looks and what she plans on doing in the boudoir, you know, as far as getting a back blowed out. Like, that's completely inappropriate. It's disrespectful to his wife. Secondly, so it's the wife and the relationship there. Secondly, this is his son's girlfriend. That's disrespectful to his son. That lets me know what he thinks about his son, and or if he thinks his son is here, then he doesn't see women as being functional people. He doesn't see them as being actual human beings. He sees them more along the lines of sex objects or just something to be used and discarded. So she's a plaything. She's not a partner. And you can tell it by the way he talks about it. She goes on to further say, "I just awkwardly laughed and we went, And that's messed up too, because you're in a situation where you don't want to flip out and cuss them out, although you may want to, because you realize that this could create problems and that'll create stress in your relationship. So she tries to do the mature thing, probably just laughing it off so that she can later go back and talk to her boyfriend about it. So we'll see. She says, I just awkwardly laughed it off and we went and had dinner. Ben's two sisters and their families got there after dinner and we all were drinking and hanging out. I went to the kitchen to get some water and his dad was in there. He said he was looking forward to what I wore on Easter, that it would show more of my assets. What are we doing here? What in the holy hell is going on? Oh, I'm looking forward to what you gonna wear for dinner. Like, this guy isn't even gonna stop. Like, I can see maybe, well, I can't even see. Let's pretend like it would be permissible. Maybe he had a slip of the tongue. Maybe, his meds was tripping or something. And like he was on, Ambien or some old craziness, and he was losing his mind. And this is something that he had said, the day before earlier when he was helping her take the bags up, and he said something inappropriate that he thought was funny. But the fact that he keeps repeating it lets you know that this isn't just a one-off thing. This is what he's actually thinking. This is who he is. So this isn't, oh, I don't understand why you're taking this personal. Why do you think I'm being creepy? I didn't actually mean that. That excuse doesn't fly. It really wouldn't have flew before, but it certainly doesn't fly now because you're in a situation where you're repeating that same action. This is who you are. This is who you are. And for her, this is part of the calculation that you have to make. Because, like I said before, I didn't just say when you go meet the parents, it's about whether the parents like you. It's also whether you like the parents. This is a relationship thing. So this relationship has to go both ways. It has to flow both ways. So you have to be able to like them, deal with them, and be able to talk and associate with them and not feel funny about yourself and not feel like you have to be reserved or hidden back. There's also a point where you shouldn't be, of all the people in the world whom you should be concerned about being in a room with, his father should not be one of those people. You shouldn't be in a situation where you're too afraid to go and have a good time or hang out if you drink too much or whatever. I don't recommend you get sloppy around anybody, but if you were to hang out with the family and you were to get sloppy, that you wouldn't be overly concerned about going into the kitchen and getting some water in the middle of the night and this dude being down there. If you're walking around and you have on like your pajamas and you're going down to get some water or some milk or whatever the case may be down in the kitchen and you happen to run into this man, what's going to happen? What is he going to say? What is he going to do? Because if he's saying all these things, then obviously it's on his mind. So that's a concern for me. And you shouldn't feel like you have to be protected against a person whom you should be able to trust. So we'll continue with this. I don't know what to do and just left and went and talked to Ben. Ben obviously is her boyfriend. she put his name out there. She hollered his name out. That's never good. When you send in letters like this and you start naming people's name, Ben, Uncle Ben, Mr. Ben, it's never a good time. So she said she went to talk to Ben. I expected he would stick up for me and talk to his dad. He did the opposite and said I should just ignore it. What? Again, this lets you know who you're dealing with. It's good to see. This is why I like relationships where you are together and you're around each other for a protracted amount of time. I'm not a huge fan of like long distance relationships, especially long distance relationships where it's virtual relationships on the computer, or you never sit in a room with one another. You never associate with people that they know and you know, and give them an opportunity to be themselves. This is who he is. This is who he is. If he's going to make these excuses and he's going to take this position, you're finally meaning, hello, young lady, this is Ben. This is who he is. This is who your boyfriend is. I said he needs to stand up for me. He then said, I should feel flattered that he thinks I'm hot. I should feel flattered that I had to read that twice. I should feel flattered that he thinks I'm hot. I didn't even respond to that. Just went to bed. Ben didn't follow me. He shouldn't have followed you because that was asinine. You should feel happy that my dad is here subjugating you. You should feel happy that my father's objectifying. You should feel happy that my father would lower himself to bang you out. Basically is what he's saying. You should feel happy that my dad thinks that you're a sex object. That's not the point. The point is, one, dummy, your father doesn't respect your girlfriend. And beyond not respecting your girlfriend, because clearly you don't care about that. Clearly you don't care about that. And beyond him not respecting your girlfriend, he doesn't respect you. Because I bet you money, you wouldn't tolerate your friends talking to your girlfriend that way. I bet you wouldn't tolerate it. Your friends telling her, oh yeah, you need to come in here and bang it out. Yeah, you need to go down to Pound Town. Hey, what you doing? What you wearing this? Oh, I need to see you in something tight and fitting so I can see what you're working with. I bet you wouldn't tolerate that from your friends. You know why you wouldn't tolerate it from your friends? Because it would be disrespectful. That shit is disrespectful. And there's no room for that. So the fact that your father would do that to you, he's not just doing it to your girlfriend. This isn't just happening outside of you. This is happening to somebody that you care about, supposedly. Now, is he going to also do this to your wife? Is this a position he's going to take with your wife? And if he's able to flirt with her, does that mean that is it permissible for him to try to sleep with her? If she allows that to happen? Is that okay? I'm just curious. I mean, inquiring minds want to know. I'm just at the point of like, what the holy hell damn is going on here? She continues with, this morning, Ben said he was sorry for what he said. Okay, so he woke up and he apologized, probably because he thought better of it, trying to put that face back on. But he wasn't completely sorry, as he still is saying, I should just ignore his dad. All day, I felt uncomfortable. I'm upset with Ben and don't want to be near his dad. I don't know his sisters enough to talk to them. Don't talk to his sisters. This is one of those situations where you're not trying to fix people. You have to make an evaluation of, is this something that you want to be a part of? Not just from the respect of, this is who his dad is, so you're going to break up with him because his dad is an ass. Nay. You have to look at the fact of the position that Ben has taken. And my question is also this. I got my don't mess with my tools on my daughter shirt on. My question is this. If you were to work things out with Ben and you were to have children with Ben, and say you had a daughter or you had a son with Ben, would Ben be okay then to talk to your kids, your sons, girlfriends or fiancés or wife about how sexy she is? Would Ben be okay with talking about your daughter if she had her friends over? Would he then be able to talk about how hot they look in their bikinis and stuff and how sexy they are? Would that be permissible? Because that's the area where you are. This is what we're talking about. So you have to think to yourself, if this is how his father made you feel and he's okay with it, then you have to take that you have to put that into the evaluation and the calculation as far as whether you want to be with this person. 1 + 1 is 2. You know what I mean? Do I want to be with the type of man who would allow this to happen and think that this is okay? Because if he thinks it's okay for his dad to do, then it's not a huge stretch that when, 5, 10, or even in this case, he's 29. So that means that in 21, so in 29 years, he gets to say the same thing to your kid's girlfriend or your kid's friends. Would it be okay for a 50-year-old Ben to be hitting on them? That's what you have, because he's showing you who he is. And as everybody says from Maya Angelou, when they show you who they are, believe them the first time. I feel like a disappointment as I'm being really quiet all day and have been on my phone at brunch. Okay, nothing wrong with that. You stay on your phone because you're trying to disconnect yourself from this because at this point, you're just biding your time. You're biding your time. You're just trying to ride this out so you can get yourself home so you can go ahead and give them that breakup notice. That's all it is. You give them the burn notice. You've been burned, baby. And burn this bad boy up. Don't call my phone no more. Everyone is noticing something is wrong with Ben and I, but won't ask about it. Right, because it's none of their business. And to be honest with you, what are you going to tell them? I'm not talking to Ben because his father was hitting on me and Ben didn't stick up for me. You're putting yourself in a bad position. You don't have to go out and be defender of the universe out here. Okay, you're not the Avengers. You don't have to be the massive, the misogynist Avenger. Because when push them down the shove, maybe these people are okay with it. You don't know where these people are as far as what's going on. And then all Dad has to say is, that's not what I meant. I was just merely trying to say that she was a pretty girl. And they all jump on his side, and then you got to sit there with all that foolishness. No. You don't have to fix everybody. You don't even know the situation, the explanation. Look, if things ain't working out, you're not the man I thought you were. I don't feel like continuing a relationship anymore. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Peace out. Bye-bye. And that's it. And that's where I'm at. Like, you don't have to sit there and try to have conversations with everybody and explain everything and talk everything the hell out. They show you who they are, believe them. You don't have to give them an opportunity to try to pull the wool over your eyes and deceive you or manipulate you by telling you a whole bunch of stuff that don't make no sense. At this point, I just want to leave, but my parents are in a different state, and I'm 5 hours away from home without my car. How do I deal with a creepy dad? How you deal with a creepy dad is doing exactly what you're doing. One, you try to make sure that you're not alone with this dude, or you're not in a position where you're off by yourself somewhere and this dude can find you where you are. Two, stay on your phone. Do what you got to do. Be cordial. Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Blah, blah, blah. But the whole time you stay focused on what it is you plan on doing when you get home. You have the conversation with Ben on the 5-hour ride home. It is what it is. I might even make a phone call for a plane ticket at that point. But, you do what you got to do to get home and get yourself home safely. And then you make your choices once you're home safely. You don't even have to make a choice. I'm not even saying you have to make a snap decision right there on that weekend. I might have, but you don't have to. But you can look at this situation and say that this is something that needs to be thought about. Not necessarily discussed, but it's certainly something that you need to think about first. And if you're going to have further discussion about it, make sure you understand where you are before you start talking to somebody else about it. Don't let somebody else try to formulate your opinion. Now, as far as the dad is concerned, the first thing I would say is hustle. Let me explain something to you. This is a family. It's not a frat house. This is not a frat house. This isn't you just sitting around waiting for the young babes and the young fillies to come through the door so you can try to pop it up and start talking to them. That's not what this is about. This is about you trying to express and extend your family. This is about you representing your household and you representing the dignity and pride that you want to have. You want to have a certain lady. To be honest with you, I would be more concerned if my son brought a young lady to the house. And I'm sitting in there, if I did go crazy and lose my damn mind and I started talking reckless to her, if she accepted that, I would have more concern about her in that situation. He should have more concern. He should be happy at the fact that, and prideful at the fact that you feel like this situation is creepy and that you feel like this is unacceptable. Because under any other circumstances, this would be a complete deal breaker. If I'm sitting there and I'm chilling out and I'm downstairs and for some reason my son brings some woman here and I'm sitting downstairs eating a bowl of cereal and she come down and she don't have no clothes on and she talking about, I just wanted you to see my assets, Poppy. No, you got to get up out my house. You got to get up out my house, son. We need to have a conversation about the company you keeping. So this whole thing is insane. That's my take. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm kind of curious what people are thinking or feeling with this particular situation. I know dude is creepy as hell. So, I mean, that right off rip, that's what it is. But let me know what you guys think down below. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. PCA.